as we proceed in the area of illegal mining and galamsey and so on. It's about resources and access to resources. And there's always going to be conflict as far as resources are involved and access to those resources are concerned. So my initial thought is that this is clearly an illegality. It should not have happened. But once lives are involved, we have to be careful and express our condolences to the families.
Now, you used a statement a while ago that you hope it does not happen again. Now, in this life, you just don't hope for things to happen. You work for things to happen. So I'll come back to that in a bit. But what do you make of the statement that has been issued, especially that of the Ghana Armed Forces, that says that, well, they had to protect, the military people were protecting their lives and that of other people in that enclave, and that they used the lethal force because they were shot at. Now, we hear from our reporter on the ground who also says to us that the Galamseyers said at one point in time they surrounded and they were pleading that they be allowed to mine for their livelihood's sake. What do you make of the statement and, of course, the response, given by the people of Obuasi?
So, and here I'm going to wear my activist hat. Over the years, we've actually seen instances. For example, if you remember the incidences following the murder of Macho Kaka in Ejura, and even in Kumasi, there's been instances where people had been killed and described as armed robbers, which later turned out not to be the case, and so on. And you can talk about several other instances where the security services have killed people or shot at people, and then given a story which later turned out not to be exactly the case. And so, from the point of view of an activist, I would say ordinarily we should believe what the military is saying, and I have no reason to doubt them in this instance. But with the recent history of our security services in mind, the only thing I would ask for is thorough investigation to unravel what actually happened, because we were not there. It was between the military and these illegal miners. Of course, we've agreed that they had no right to be there, but the fact that somebody commits a crime doesn't necessarily mean they have to be. There are legal processes, just as they have acted illegally. There are legal processes to correct illegalities, and so there's the need to arrest and so on where possible. Of course, if the military men felt that their lives were in danger, they had a right to respond appropriately. All I'm saying is, from an activist point of view, there have been instances where our military, our police, and so on have done stuff and put out a story which later turned out not to be entirely the case. So what we can do is to call for a thorough investigation, which will then establish what really happened on the day, which is yesterday and the day before, to be able to really understand what happened and why the military reacted in the way they did. And of course, as we said, this activity was illegal, and so if it turns out that they fired at the military and the military were protecting themselves, then of course they are 100% in the right position to do so.
The call you make of a thorough investigations, we know that the president has ordered same. What are your expectations of the people who will be conducting the investigations?
Integrity is the word I would use here. Sometimes, again, going back to our recent history, particularly in the case of Ejura and in the case following the disturbances following the killing of Macho Kaka, we saw how that investigation went. As we speak, we really don't know what actually happened. The investigation, you could say, was more or less botched up. We don't actually know what really happened in the aftermath of those shootings, And so we would require that whoever leads this investigation puts their own integrity on the line, that they would do the work as it is, not only to find fault, but to ensure that once we know what actually happened and the public becomes aware, we are then in a better position to prevent it in future. But if we don't do a thorough investigation, if we don't know what actually happened, it would be extremely difficult to prevent it reoccurring in future. Okay, so it would be absolutely important that whoever is involved in this investigation, whoever is asked to lead the investigation, does so and does it with all their integrity, with all professionalism, and ensures that we get to the bottom of what happened, not only to find fault as to who did what and so on, but that report would then serve as a basis for preventing the reoccurrence of such acts in future. If we do a shallow or poor work at unraveling the reasons behind it, then our chances of future prevention is severely limited. So I think their integrity, their professionalism should be brought to bear on the investigation.
Thanks very much, Dr. Otu Larbi. Hold the line for me. I'll be coming back to you because I'd like to know from you whether, our approach to fighting Galamsey is a right one. Are we using the right approach to fight Galamsey? I'll come to you shortly and get